Gotta love that Illuvium soundtrack. Goodbye soundtrack, because hello episode. What's up everybody, Andrew Wall here, host and executive producer at Illuvium, and today we've got IlluviTalks. Did you know that you probably missed the biggest story to ever happen in NFTs? It just happened. Reddit NFTs, but they aren't using the term NFTs. No. What are we talking about in this episode of IlluviTalks? Well, first of all, I promise you'll learn at least 2 new insights about blockchain technology and gaming and the future of media, guaranteed or your money back. Here's what's going on. Reddit NFTs, are they reversing the NFT downtrend? Are NFTs a dead term now because Reddit was so wildly successful? And will every other social media platform on Earth have to copy what Reddit just did because it was so insanely successful? Well, what do I mean so insanely successful? How about 3 million new wallets from a community that literally hated NFTs, bought them up like hotcakes, completely sold out, 3 million new wallets on Reddit. Absolutely insane. Really quick, before we talk about NFTs, for all you degens out there thinking this is some kind of financial advice, you couldn't be more wrong. This is just a show educating people about gaming, technology. We're going to share insights with you. You need to go talk to your own financial advisor and realize listening to some dudes talk about NFTs on the internet and digital collectibles, not financial advice. But I've got an expert panel. You don't just have to listen to me jibber jabber about all of this. Our first guest is a heavy hitter. His name's David, aka Pachetto, entrepreneur, investor, content creator. He's got millions of subscribers across infinity channels. Let's bring him in here. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How are you doing? Yeah,
doing great.
Me too, guys. Yeah, just to specify, it's in a Spanish-speaking countries, but sorry if my English is not that perfect, but I will try to do the best I can. So thank you for inviting me in this panel. I'm so glad to be here, guys, and I hope I can share, good info, but not financial advice. Remember. But
we wouldn't know the first thing about financial advice, and he's being humble. He's got gazillions of subscribers, and he'll apologize about his English, but as you can tell, he speaks English. Our next expert panelist, another creator, Brandon from Gizmo Slip, a content creator that makes tech and crypto videos. Congratulations, not congratulations. Congratulations on hitting 600 million views, dude. Good job.
Thanks. I really appreciate inviting me to come on this talk. I mean, it's a really great opportunity to interface with the community. I've been following Illuvium for so long, and I can't wait to see and play Illuvium because I'm a hardcore gamer, thousands of hours in games, and big into crypto for about a year now. And just getting more and more experienced in the space and reading up about it, detailed research on it, especially on upcoming projects. And I'm most excited about Illuvium overall as a project. I think it's going to be epic. I mean, Ethereum obviously is probably my #1 project, but Illuvium is like my #1 small project. Like more of a pet project. So anyway, it's let's can't wait to participate in this talk.
Thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. So why would I bring these giant creators in here that also cover crypto? Well, because this story today is the intersection of crypto and blockchain and social media. And these guys are literally titans on social media. Speaking of which, we've got this guy that works for this blockchain game. Also, he works with influencers on social media. You might have heard of him before. TSG in the house. What's up, buddy?
Hey, dude.
Hey, guys. What's up? What's good, everyone?
Awkward. I love the forced awkward there. That's great.
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate you having me back on, Andrew. I'm really excited to have this conversation. Also, my English is not very good as well, so I do apologize if I struggle with that as well. But I appreciate you guys giving me a chance. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Your guys' English is
so much
great.
Humble. Yeah, so much humble from you guys. Too much humble. Okay. Let's show them what's happening on Reddit right now. I said 3 million new wallets came out here. It's completely sold out. Millions and millions of dollars market cap on NFTs. Reddit isn't even using the term NFTs anymore. Let me just show you what's going on. This is my profile, and you guys can cut in here and help me provide context. So on Reddit, if you didn't already know, it has 50 million users. Reddit has decided to implement, let's call it traditional social media profiles, let's call it, where you can have your own banner, you can have your own avatar, you can have your own links below, and you can post content in a feed and people can follow you, becoming kind of, you know, Twitter, YouTube, hybrid-esque. But the interesting bit here, this NFT that you see here, they don't call it NFTs, it's called an Avatar Collectible, was an airdrop that Reddit dropped on their community to millions of users. And right here, you can view your collectible, you can make it into your avatar, you can keep it on the Reddit wallet that they provide you, or you can send it off chain and go sell it somewhere. And so what a lot of people are doing with their avatars is they're obviously taking them over to OpenSea, and we're seeing 9 bangers, 10 bangers, 20 bangers, you name it. But there's some features here that are going to be interesting that folks are going to be familiar with if they're familiar with the Luvitars, and that is styling your avatar and changing it and dressing up your avatar in the ways that you want to. So for example, here under my profile, this is my stuff, and this is the singularity. You can choose which of your accessories you want to put on your avatar, and you can hit save. You could also go explore other avatars that you might have. Maybe I want to put on the pants of this one and the mask of that one. Then I could hit save, and you can mix and match different avatars, known as Avatar Collectibles, not known as NFTs here, and put them all together. They also have a digital shop that you can notice the collectible avatars here, made by independent creators, each unique and limited. That's another thing that happened here with this Reddit strategy that was incredibly useful. On Reddit, they got top Reddit artists from the top subreddits on Reddit to make these avatars. So they weren't just generating them as a megacorp and then selling them to their users. They had their own artists from their own communities create this. It came from the community, and the community is loving it. Any other context you guys feel like I should share it? And obviously we can cover more here in a moment about what Reddit has done and why it is now blowing up. It's like the top NFTs. There's now Reddit NFT maxis now, evidently, because it was so wildly successful. Anything you want to add to that context?
The most important thing I think to recognize is that there's these 4 collections. You have the drip, like Awe Friends, like a techno one, and another, like there's 4 different categories. And those, when you are an active user on Reddit and you have this X amount of cards, they hide the requirements to be able to be eligible to mint your own free NFT. But once you hit that minimum requirement, you're able to get your free NFT, minted on the blockchain, and you have to have a Polygon wallet though before you can do that, and they call it the Reddit Vault. They don't tell you it's a crypto wallet. They just say these Reddit collectible avatars are blockchain backed. You know,
no crypto, no NFTs, none of this terminology that people don't like. Right. They just say there's blockchain technology on the back end. You don't have to worry about any of that though. And
Gen 2, I was gonna say, I just want to mention one more thing. The Gen 2 collectible avatars are limited editions, so there's between 100 and 1,000 of them, and they're like copies of one piece of art that people can use as their avatar, basically as their core profile picture. And those are sold between $10 and $100, and then those are the ones that are going up, like blowing up from like tens of thousands of dollars for like, especially the really limited ones, like some like the Faustling, and there's like the Midas one for like 9 ETH on OpenSea. There's only like 100 of those. But you can see right there, there's your vault, and so there's also ERC20 tokens specific to subreddits now as well on Reddit. Very interesting.
They've implemented a token system for each subreddit. I don't want to confuse people, but they've also implemented a community points system. Notice how they're not calling it governance tokens. Notice how they're not using any of this DeFi terminology. It's community points are now on mainnet. Do you see the words Ethereum, token, governance, DeFi, or blockchain, or crypto anywhere in these statements? Reddit is crushing it. And they took a community that otherwise hated all of that technology to now widely adopt it within each of its communities because they didn't say at all that it had anything to do with crypto, which is fascinating. Let's get into we can cover more context. I want to get into our discussion topics because there is a number of huge implications from this. Is Reddit responsible for maybe reversing the dead NFT trend with this huge move? And what I mean by that, and I want to take it over to David, aka Pachetto, is Reddit selling or opening up millions of new wallets for collectible avatars a one-off? Or is this a trend-setting event that could change the way NFTs and digital collectibles go moving forward?
I mean, I think PFPs are back. And when I mean that is like, I remember, for example, in, CryptoPunks, for me, is one of the best NFTs you can have, okay? And because at the beginning, they just PFP and nothing else. There is no utility attached, etc. But it's okay. There is no problem. They were the first one doing that. And, I think it's one of the best, probably, NFTs in the long run. Having said that, I love the way, I'm not sure if they done intentionally or not. Probably yes. I mean, Reddit, changing the name of everything because, it's more different approach for the same product, let's say, no? But even if they do it, I mean, intentionally or not, they have now, all attention from the NFT market out there. So is this the new bull market is going to come now? Not sure, but definitely big social medias are going to move in that direction. They made a case. For example, I think Twitter is going to start doing a wallet soon. Actually, Reddit doesn't say wallet, they say vault.
It's a vault, not a wallet. That's right. And and just so all the users, so everybody knows out there, when you put your NFTs in the Reddit vault, it just happens automatically, and it automatically generates a key, all the security aspects for you. Then you can choose if you want to move that to your own wallet off of their platform. If not, it's in their vault. Not one of those wallets I've heard of that are destroying the earth with, minting or whatever story people heard. It's just a vault, which sounds really safe. So I think they very deliberately, you said, I'm not sure if they deliberately chose this news terminology. They very deliberately, as a marketer, I can tell you, they very deliberately took whatever the mainstream words were for NFT and crypto and said, what is a word nobody's using right now that means the same thing? That's our strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask the next question here then, because this begs the question. Is the success of Reddit's Avatar Collectibles kind of bullish for NFT gaming in general, like the adoption of NFTs in the gaming sector? Or is this Reddit thing just isolated to Reddit? Is this just profile pictures? Is this not really going to spill into the world of gaming? As somebody who's put in gajillions of hours into gaming, Brandon from Gizmo Slip, what do you think?
I think that it is going to make a huge difference. I think something that's just absolutely crucial you have to recognize about these Reddit avatars is that they basically function as your profile picture, but you can't actually put like a JPEG or some random image, which is one of the main issues I think on existing social media, like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. You can just copy anyone's NFT and pretend like, oh yeah, I've got this $1 million NFT. Well, in the Reddit scenario, you can't fake owning the NFT because they're all, the profile pictures are like a sign from the blockchain technology for the authentic collection. And so it's like if you show that you've got like this 9 ETH Reddit avatar, like you actually have it, like people know instantly, oh, this guy's got a $20,000 profile picture, like, and it's verified basically and inherently within the platform, which is I think a huge advantage to the way Reddit has done this. So, and regarding gaming broadly, absolutely, I think this shows that when people can identify their personal image with a something of value, something that's rare, collectible, and limited, people like that, and it adds more value to the NFT than just like, yeah, I've got this NFT that's worth something on the blockchain, but there's no way to verify it outside the blockchain. And it's a really cool way that Reddit's done that.
And also, I want to jump in and just again in regards to that of, is it bullish for gaming? Yes, because I think the biggest pushback that we're seeing in gaming right now is, yo, we don't want NFTs. Yo, it's ruining the gaming system, like all of that, right? It's just a lot of backlash. And like we kind of mentioned with Reddit, a lot of those guys on Reddit were that crowd that were talking ill about NFTs. So what this does is, I don't think this is like the turning point. Like personally, I don't think this is the turning point. But what I do think is it shows that with proper branding, we are actually able to convert these haters into supporters of the technology. So for me, it's a massive proof of concept here. Whether it's the turning point or not, I can't make that claim. But I think it's a very, very bullish signal, at least for the long term, that we're not fighting a losing battle. Even though they're against it now, they are willing to come on board when the time is right and when marketing is done correctly.
That makes sense. Let me ask you this then. So, here at Illuvium, we got to learn from Generation 1 crypto games. We saw that inflationary tokenomics, bad. Terrible gameplay that people hate and they're just there for the money, bad. Characters that are kind of forgettable or they kind of glossed over them or rushed something to market, bad. Illuvium's addressing and correcting all of that. Okay, Reddit, in my opinion, has done the biggest Web 2 adoption ever up to this point. With bringing 3 million users in out of their 50 million, I mean, it's not hard to imagine that going up to 5 million, right? Getting 10% of the user base of a major social media platform to adopt this new blockchain technology is the biggest feat ever in terms of blockchain and getting mainstream in here. So the question I have to ask, and I'm gonna kick this over to you, TSG, what can Illuvium learn from this mass adoption that these guys pulled off? Taking a community that literally hated a technology to now loving it and spending gazillions of dollars on it. What happened?
Yeah, Dan, that's a tough question. What can we learn from that? I think branding is definitely one of the things, like the vocabulary that we use. And obviously, I think with us being internal, we kind of already see us kind of making that change and we're moving away from the play to earn. I don't think we were ever really truly branded as play to earn, but moving away from that, again, focusing on the game itself. And actually, just before this, I was on another live with James Pelton, and we had a similar conversation of, I think from the biggest thing that I think that we can learn from this is from V1 to V2, or where we are now, is like, and you've mentioned this many times as well, is stop talking about crypto, stop talking about like the technology behind it, focus on the product itself. And I think that is actually, we can say, the vocabulary or the marketing, but I think what they've done is they've actually really focused on the product that they're building and how it's going to add value to the members in that community. And by focusing on that product alone, it opens people up into being receptive, essentially, instead of saying, oh, yo, you can flip this for this much. You can, again, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what the product is. It's coming from the community, what they've done there. I think that's the biggest thing that I think that we can learn. Again, it's a very simple thing to say, oh, let's not use NFTs. Let's use collectible avatars or whatever the word is going to be. Like the vocabulary. It's very easy for me to say, oh, let's change the vocabulary. But I think it's deeper than that. And I think it's going back to the actual product itself and make sure that the product serves a solid purpose to that community. That's the thing that I think is actually going to make like people in communities actually transition their mindset into being more receptive of these things.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a couple things that are validating here for a project like Luvitars. If you guys are not already familiar with that, Illuvium had been planning for a long time and is going to roll out very soon. Collectible avatars that are customizable and you can remove pieces of them and then add them to a collection and then freely custody them on the blockchain. Literally the exact avatar kind of format that Reddit is executing. Illuvium's been planning that for a while and is going to bring that to the table as our avatar, as our profile picture NFT offering. So I think the point there is, I think all of the PFP projects and what have you that are just some crappy looking animal that looks like garbage on purpose, that doesn't do all of these things, that isn't fully customizable, isn't easy for folks to onboard into, and isn't necessarily as high quality and doesn't have a collection sort of feature. I think what Reddit has done here is shown the bar that Luvitars is bringing, that's now the bar. Like Reddit put the bar there on all of those features in Web 2. Illuvium is going to put the bar there in Web 3. So if anybody else is going to come in here and try to shill some NFTs, you've got to do all of that to meet par now. Not just generate some shitty looking goblins that are like smoking a pipe and then like hope you make millions of dollars. I think this raised the bar from like a quality level of like a 1.5 out of 10, which is where it's been, to like a 6 out of 10, like that. Like the quality bar just went goosh for avatar and profile pictures. And anyone that tries to pull off in the next year or two, the 1.5 out of 10 strategy is going to be less and less successful every single time they attempt to do it. Quick takes on that, then we may need to move into our next topic. Do you guys agree that the bar has been raised here? Or is nobody paying attention to this red dit and this is a nothing burger story?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Pith.
I was going to say, it's definitely not a nothing burger story, but I also don't want to, like, I agree with you. It's definitely raised the bar, and it's funny you mentioned the goblins as well, because I was actually going to make a joke about, so a duck smoking a cigarette isn't going to cut it anymore. But yeah, no. So the bar definitely has been raised, and it's definitely not a nothing burger, but also, and the fact, and definitely not looking over the fact that they did onboard 3 million wallets. That is massive. There's no running away from that. But also, I don't want to fall into the trap of these small hype cycles of we are in this industry, we are in this, like, these conversations, like we kind of saw with I'm looking at it now, and you brought up the goblins. Like, goblins happened in June of 2022, much after, like, when everything crashed and everyone was going crazy. I think at its peak it was like, I brought it up here, let me see, the peak was like 9 ETH or something at its peak. And it's now down to like less than 1 ETH. So, and that was like, and everyone was like, yo, this is the change, this is narrative driven NFTs now, like this is the standard now. We had that was the conversation that was happening in crypto Twitter, NFT Twitter, and again, look at it now. So, but again, I do agree that the standard has upgraded, and there is a difference.
That's crypto Twitter though, and that's crypto bros. Reddit has their avatars being used by regular Web 2 Redditors. Regular people, not people that are going in on a goblin or a piece of poop to make money off of it. Because that's the only reason why anybody bought any of those goblins. 0% of people liked those, right? They only bought them low so they could sell them high. The value to each one of those people was literally 0 on all of those. Whereas with Reddit, to get 3 million people to get these avatars and to buy them, it's because they actually want them, right? Some percentage of people actually want them.
Well, one thing I want to clarify is that 3 million people didn't buy. They actually minted for free. So you get when you create a Reddit vault, you can, and you're so active, you can get one for free. You don't have to pay anything for that initial bit. But the Gen 2 avatars were all paid either between $10 and $100. Now those free ones that they gave out, those are actually going for about $20 to $30, $40 right now on OpenSea, even the free ones. But so, and regarding your question earlier, has the bar been raised for avatars?
Really quick, thank you for clarifying that. I do want to say, though, if you go on Twitter right now, there's a million bots out there asking everyone on Twitter, and everywhere, really, to please have this free NFT, free mint. Please take it for free, says thousands of bots. Like, we're just giving it away for free, and people aren't doing it. Reddit successfully got millions of people to take the NFT for free. The point is they actually wanted the product.
Right.
Reddit made an NFT product people actually were willing to take for free.
Right.
Most 99.9% of the nonsense out there can't even get you to take it for free. It's not even worth the 2 minutes required to take it for free. Whereas Reddit, it was definitely worth that for a lot of users. I think that's a bar to cross right there. It's NFTs are at least worth 0 now, as opposed to negative. It's in the negatives.
They made it worthwhile. They integrated it. I agree. So, David, you had something you wanted to say. I'll pass that back.
Yeah, well, just to mention about goblins, even so, I think it was a perfect timing on that time of the market, that they came up with something creative, even if zero value, whatever, but the narrative, etc., and the timing was so great that was a successful even for a short time of period. I mean, that's the only thing I will talk about this. And the other thing interesting here is that in terms of NFT gaming, and then we got the collective NFTs as well. In terms of number of sales, there is more in gaming than in collectibles. But in terms of volume, the NFT collectibles are 10 times bigger than gaming. So if you can mix both, you got you have a business here, a big opportunity. Collectibles and gaming, both in mix, for me, is something that can make a difference.
Yeah,
I agree,
like
and I wish that
like
I
what
wish
we're
we had
building.
something like that at Illuvium. And really
wish we
quick,
did.
we have a sponsor that wants to play a video right now. We'll be right back. God, if only Illuvium had thought of this before. Go to illuvium.io/Illuvitars. And wow, look at that. You could make an Illuvitar. You could make your avatar. You could customize it. Headwear, eyewear, skin, props, bodywear. Huh. You should go sign up right now. It seems like it might be a good idea. Check it out on the website. Okay, thank you to our sponsor Illuvium for that. So let's get back into the discussion. We mentioned earlier that NFT has very deliberately avoided all blockchain and crypto and all of this sort of language that the average user out there thinks is either criminal or destroying the earth, or insert FUD here that the establishment doesn't want. So the question to you, TSG, the next topic here is the term NFT dead now? Like, based on Reddit's mass market success with collectible avatars, should the crypto industry move away from the term NFTs? TSG, you're up first.
Yeah, again, we've had this conversation before and many times in this space. I don't think so. Again, I don't think so. But also at the same time, I think that we should start, and this is a perfect example of us using actual specific categories in NFTs. And I've kind of mentioned it before, like in one of our previous episodes of, we have the category of dogs, and then we have an Alsatian or whatever it is. Same thing with cars. You can say, oh, it's a car. Then you have it's a Tesla, it's a Ford. So I think the name, or like the main category, the top category of NFT should still be there. But then again, we shouldn't just class everything as an NFT when we're talking about in-game assets, when we're talking about digital collectibles, when we're talking about customizable avatars. I'm starting to lean towards the thought that we shouldn't be using NFTs for everything. Like, everything is an NFT, yes, but when discussing specific things, let's give these things specific names. So that way we kind of understand that, all right, so this has this role, this is used here. And again, maybe it's the same, like, we don't just say, oh, video games, because some people might like a first-person shooter, some people might like strategy games. Mm-hmm. Same way with these NFTs. Like, maybe you're not interested in the collectible side of things, but you are very interested in expressing yourself through customizable avatars or things like that. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it now, and I actually am changing my mind as I'm saying this. Like, I do believe that NFTs as a whole thing, yes, it covers everything. But when we discuss these and when it comes to marketing, it might make more sense to actually start to specify exactly what type of NFT that is and give it its own unique name and ecosystem. I think that might be a lot more. It might be a lot easier for different communities to receive it. In my opinion.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
my take
ahead.
on that is that, it's very important for us to view NFT more as just like a background term, because that's really what it is. Like, it's a type of asset on the blockchain. And we don't really need to call an Illuvium NFT, just call it an Illuvial. We just call it an Illuvitar. We can call it a Reddit collectible avatar. We don't need to, it technically is an NFT. And the same way I don't need to, when I'm working on some database, I don't need to talk about the database table number or talk about the technical aspects of managing a database. I can just be like, yeah, this is the data, this is the entity, or this is the entry, or whatever. You just talk about the thing that is, and it just, that happens. And NFT is just how it happens to exist on the blockchain, and that's okay. We don't need to focus on that, though, because I think NFT does have a lot of negative connotations in a lot of people's mind that makes them, kind of push back a little bit naturally, automatically, because they think they're trying to sell you something when they initially hear that. And I think we got to be careful about that and just focus on the fun aspects of it and just the natural properties of an NFT.
Yeah, for me, this reminds me, and I guess I'm dating myself a little bit, but in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, MP3s were the big thing. That was the big revolutionary technology for music. And even Eminem was rapping about I'll get you on audio and MP3, and then you had your iPod and it had the MP3 logo on it. You bought a boom box. That's what people used at that time. It had the MP3 logo on it. People were selling MP3s, not songs, right? Your device was an MP3 player, not a music player, right? And so for a long time, that technology was so revolutionary and it caught everybody's attention that everybody referred to MP3s. But after about 3 to 4 years, people stopped talking about MP3s. MP3s just ended up, like you're saying, being the background technology. And now we just say, hey, did you listen to Taylor Swift's new album?
I have not.
Did you listen to that podcast? Can you play this song? We're not saying, can you play that MP3? Did you buy Taylor's new MP3, etc.? So I think that to your point, to reinforce your point, I think that's precisely what's going to happen with NFTs. Everybody was crazy about MP3s for 3 to 4 years, then nobody talked about it ever again. I think everybody's crazy about NFTs, and then nobody's ever going to talk about it ever again. And they're just going to talk about what the actual thing is on the front end. The creative is on the front end instead of the term MP3. So to that point, I think the debate between should we call them NFTs or should we call them digital collectibles is dumb. I don't think that they should be. Digital collectibles is not a replacement for NFTs. To your point, Gizmo Slip, I think that we're going to call it Illuvials. I think we're going to call it, Assassin's Creed. We're going to call it whatever the gun name is in the game. We're going to call it whatever the work of art is actually called, not a collectible. And that's that, right? So any other thoughts on, is the term NFT dead? Do you disagree with us? Do you any other hot takes here?
I kind of disagree for the moment because I think we're still early on this technology to get it mainstream, really. I mean, because there are still pictures or digital art that are not NFTs. And I think that will come in the next wave when everybody knows, understands really what an NFT is, that they will never talk about NFTs again because everybody will use it. And this will come when a big studio or something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe Steam starts also using these avatars for their user base. Steam, the big gaming platform, is Web 2, and then, a lot of audience will be more used to the term of NFT, and then they will stop using it. But for the moment, I think it's still early. We're really early on this market, I think.
Yeah, I don't see Steam ever integrating NFTs based on what Gabe Newell's said. He's not very pro crypto and blockchain technology, is my understanding. But,
no, it's true.
But I think we'll have competitors.
They can change mine in
They'll get forced to. There's no way they're going to say no forever.
As soon as the business starts to lose revenue, then they're going to go, oh, well, we started partnering with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But at that point, their business already started declining. It's because the new Steam came up and started taking their business. It's because IMX Marketplace maybe becomes the new Steam, and ends up once they take about 10% of their market share, it's too late. The new platform is now too far, and Steam can't catch up. And then at that point, Steam will try to catch up, and then it'll become the dinosaur. It'll become the TV to YouTube. People still watch TV, but YouTube is the biggest video platform of all time, etc.
Yeah.
So
I think
if you're late to the party, and if you're not going right now on crypto and NFTs and blockchain and this technology, you're too late.
Yeah.
You're already too late.
At the same time, I would play the devil's advocate in the sense that, Steam has all of these relationships already pre-set up with all these game publishers, and it's going to be difficult for, like IMX to break into that market and say, take game sales. I think that game asset sales will definitely, like in-game assets will definitely sell for more free-to-play oriented type of games. And I think eventually we will have whole games sold on the blockchain. I would love that. I can't wait to be able to like buy a game like Cyberpunk 2077 on the blockchain and be able to sell it to someone else when you're done playing it. Or maybe there's limited supply of a certain, there's only 1 million copies ever sold. I don't know. But there's all of these technologies that will eventually go into that. It's just that Steam has that first mover advantage of they already have the relationship set up. They basically have a pseudo monopoly on the game video game industry in that sense. And we have Epic Game Store, we have Ubisoft's Game Store, but nowhere nearly to the same scale that Steam has for a user base. So I think that if anything, if we could get a competitor like IMX to come up, right, and start selling games and taking over a huge part of Steam's marketplace, I think that'd be great. And I think Steam could still compete, though, with IMX, even if they lost 10% market share to IMX, simply because of those pre-existing relationships with the game studios. But it's too hard to predict what's going to happen in that ballpark.
Yeah.
That's just my
I want to push back on that slightly, if I could. And again,
push back more than slightly. We want to get a spicy
wanna hear
talk
it.
show. Say you're full of shit, and here's why.
No, I don't. Oh, Jesus, Andrew. No, okay, I don't. Clarifying, I don't think you're full of shit, but like an example that I'd kind of give in regards to that is like, yes, they have all of these connections, they have all of these relationships, but something that we're seeing play out in front of our eyes right now is, and I've mentioned this a lot, Tesla. Like, you saw those like traditional automakers being like, yo, we don't need electric cars, it doesn't need to happen, all of this brushing it off. They were pseudo monopolies, right? They were buddy with all the other guys. They were like, we don't need to do this. Tesla came up slowly, step by step, started building the infrastructure, started building these charging stations, putting it around everywhere, and now they're the leading electric car maker, EV maker. Sorry,
I think they're the leading maker all overall. Actually, I think
and so
selling more
and
cars
now
than
you have
else.
you have these traditional makers that are now, again, like what we're saying, they're too late to it, and they're like, oh, we need to go EV now. But really, can they catch up? Can they actually put out the like electric charging stations in all of these places? They can, but it looks like they're going to be taking like that Google approach of, instead of taking the large majority market share, they're happy to kind of sit down, wait till someone else does it, and then take a minority share. Not a minority share, but a smaller share at least. So like with Steam, they've got all these connections and stuff. But I mean, if all of their connections are moving slowly, is that really like? I don't think it's going to be.
I think,
and I'm not saying they're out of the game. I'm not saying they're out of the game. I'm not that stupid. But
I think the biggest challenge,
it's not as clear cut.
I think the biggest challenge will be the actual sale of full games. Like you were talking about, like buying the next Call of Duty campaign on the blockchain and being able to resell it to someone else. Because there's also a lot of motivation and factors for game studios, because historically, like, they like the idea of selling me the game and then I can't sell it to anyone else because it's a single player game, and then it's like locked up. It's like the copy is burned basically. But within the blockchain, maybe the game studio could take a 10 or 20% cut each time the game is resold, so it's a continuous revenue stream. But they'd have to, like, basically, in-game studio or video game studios have to decide, is that a trade-off they're willing to make, and are they going to make more money doing that versus just selling the game one-off to each individual? So I think it's going to be very interesting.
I've
They
got a
have
lot
that
to say on
decision
this. So,
to make-
so really quick,
Yeah,
people
sorry.
of the future watching this right now, there's someone in this conversation in 2022 that thinks people will buy video games. Isn't that hilarious? Because in the future, when you're watching this, people are not going to buy video games. So if you look at the trend right now, free-to-play games has been
Yeah.
steadily skyrocketing into infinity, taking over all revenue for all video games. And that trend is not slowing down. And I think with the advent of Web3 and NFTs and blockchain, people paying for video games will become a sub 10%, sub 1% revenue stream for gaming in the future. Similar to how people don't buy music albums anymore. Like, you don't go buy an album. You just play the music for free anywhere you want. Now you can pay for premium features, you can pay for extra access, you can pay for all these collectibles, you can buy the t-shirt, you can buy the mug, you can go to the concert, you can do all those things, but nobody buys creative assets like that anymore now that the technology matured. Whatever the least friction is to get access to something fun and creative and entertainment, that's what wins longer term. So gaming company, assuming that gaming companies will sell their video games to people in the future, I think is totally naive. And you're not looking at like where the trend is going. The trend is going, if you give it away for free, you take over the market. If you charge people money to get it up front, you lose. Look at baseball, the sport that's going down to nothing. You have to pay money to watch baseball, so baseball dies, right? So everything that you have to pay money to enjoy is less popular and is trending down. There will always be companies that sell you something and you have to pay money to gain access to it, but those always go down. Just like with TV, you have to pay for a cable package to get access to that content. TV go down. Print media, you had to pay access to get access to that print, the piece of paper. That goes down. What went up? YouTube, it's free. Social media, it's free. Streaming platforms, they're free. Free is the future. Zero friction is the future. And so gaming developers and publishers out there that think you're going to sell your video games and be successful 10 years from now, if you're watching this in 2032, it's ridiculous. It's a hilarious idea. Same thing as like us going back 20 years and being like, in the future, you won't be able to sell a CD anymore. They'll be like, yeah, right.
And
that's where we're at.
There's one thing that I just want to add real quick as well, just a small thing about you kind of mentioning, like they'll start to think, maybe again, let's say that they do still sell video games in the future. That idea of, maybe we could make more money, like that's a decision they have to make now with like in-game cosmetics and in-game purchases now, and they're clearly against it because
no, that's not true. That's not true. You ever heard of microtransactions? That's the majority of revenue in the gaming industry. It's 65+%, but it's just not on the blockchain.
But that's what I mean. Like, let's say I buy a skin. Technically, if they allowed us to be transacting on a secondary market and them collecting a royalty, that's better than us just paying one time and that's it. That's done for that one skin. So they have to make that decision now already. That's a decision they should be making. And again, I haven't done the math and I'm not an expert at that. But I think logically speaking, having your customers sell and trade on an open marketplace and receiving that royalty for infinity should technically make more sense. You might have a bit less on the front end, but on the back end, you should be generating much more. So that's a decision that they should be making now and they have to be making, but they're clearly all against the whole blockchain and free marketplace. So yeah, I just don't see them, again, being proactive with it. I think they'll adjust when they're forced to adjust.
So
David, anything you want to add here? We got to move on to the next topic.
Yeah, well, just quick thing. I agree. I mean, the interesting thing here is how you offer something free with a lot of value for the most you can, and then how you monetize that. So yeah, I agree. That's the business model of almost any successful companies offering, especially in gaming, but in everything, as you say, all media. So yeah, it's I in that case I agree.
Cool. That makes sense. So really quick, if you guys enjoy these conversations, and obviously you like looking at all of our very handsome, above average attractiveness looking faces right now, but if you want to listen to our above average attractive voices, we have a audio podcast version of this. Go to illuvium.buzzsprout.com. We're literally pumping this into every effing platform there is. You can literally just search Illuvium. I'm editing up these episodes, uploading them. I'm about to dump 5 more episodes on there, cut up. All the ums and ahs and awkwards are out, and only the good stuff is in. Go watch this show, or listen to this show, rather, on audio podcast platforms. Okay, friends, we're going to move into the last topic. I know you guys have your millions of subscribers you need to go attend to here, so let me get you on the road here with our last topic. Social media adoption. Will every single social media platform now copy-paste Reddit's collectible avatars model? Because it was so freaking successful. They actually got people to take on millions of free NFTs and introduce that technology to their users. You know those Reddit executives are like, yes, 3 million wallets, yes. If we can monetize those by an average of $10 per wallet, yes. Per month, yes. That's $30 million per month. Boop, 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 boop. You know they're doing the math on that, right? Oh, $120 million bonus revenue per year. Boop, 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 boop. So I guarantee you every CFO of every social media company is having a second look at getting people to adopt this technology so they can monetize them. So Gizmo Slip, what do you think, man? Is every social media platform just going to Control V, Control C, or whatever the other way around this model onto their platform? What do you think, dude? I did it backwards. They pasted, then copied. What do you think, dude?
Dude, I think that it was a really well executed plan from a marketing perspective, especially. And then the way they, like I said, they integrated the avatars from a not like they completely changed the way the profiles work typically on social media, where you can just upload any image you want. And I think from a foundational level, I think that's going to be the key, that a lot of the social media platforms and video game future video game platforms like the Illuvium, network or whatever, like using Luvitars as a profile picture rather than just any old JPEG, will narrow it down and ensure authenticity and add much more value to any collectibles that are sold on that marketplace. So I think that overall, I think Reddit's set a fantastic example of onboarding millions of users very quickly within a little bit over a year now. 3 million users in a year is incredible. And I think it shows that there's a vibrant, bright future for integrating blockchain technology into Web 2 applications, especially seamlessly. And it's just, I'm really impressed overall with Reddit's execution. And I think it's definitely something that everyone needs to learn from and take at least the key portions of it, the authenticity, the value that they give back to the user within the platform. And if they can do those things, they can provide like a great game, or they provide a great social media platform experience, and then they can integrate these collectibles into them. It's just going to be a huge moneymaker for everyone across all these different social media platforms and gaming industries. So
TSG. Okay, let's assume the CFOs of all these companies are looking in this and going, cool new revenue stream. I guarantee you almost all of them are. Some of them are boomerang right now, but most of them probably are. So TSG, of all the social platforms out there that could take this on, messaging platforms, video platforms, audio platforms, you name it, we'll call them Web 2, community, and social platforms. Which ones do you think are best suited to take on maybe the Reddit playbook and just knock it out of the park? What are your thoughts?
I would say Parler. Now that Kanye West is now just. I was, no.
You're actually onto something there. So yeah.
No, I think like honestly speaking, I think like something like a Parler or like Rumble, all of these like smaller ones. But otherwise, I think probably one of the biggest ones would be something. And when I say Facebook, I mean like all of Facebook, not just Facebook.com. So Facebook.com, Instagram, WhatsApp, like all of those. Like the meta kind of umbrella. Discord?
Yeah, Discord. What do you think?
I feel like Discord would be great.
What do I think of Discord? Discord
like
would be great.
Integrating this type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, talk more about it. I'm actually curious. How would you see it play out with Discord?
Yeah, so you're the Discord CEO. You're pitching this to the board of directors before you do it. What's your pitch? Ready, Brandon, go.
Take everything Reddit did and copy it. Basically.
Control V, Control C. Just do that. Control V, Control C.
No, I mean, it makes sense, right? Reddit has generated this art that's loved by these individual communities. They give each one community points for each community. And now there's a singular unified community points system across all communities on Reddit that's on the blockchain. And they now control that. Imagine if Discord had such a, I know they're not calling it crypto or token, but imagine if Discord had a unifying collection of NFTs and a unifying cryptocurrency or whatever we want to call community points across all Discord servers. The monetization opportunities there go well beyond Discord Nitro. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like offering something for free, and then royalties will do the rest of the work, no? And not only that, but also having this collectible thing attached to it that you can actually sell it. But the way they done is so cool because as you changing the names of everything, using like a wallet from the company, really, no, because it's in you unless you take it out and move to your wallet, it's still on Reddit wallets, it's called the Vault or whatever. But yeah, I mean, for Discord is definitely a good I mean it's a good place. And of course Twitter, I mean both platforms are the most used in NFT space, so it's definitely a natural step moving on that. And again, free is going to monetize, so yeah, it's
What do you
That
guys
makes sense. And I love what you said a minute ago about the royalties being the real play. You only need to sell some of the NFTs on your platform. And then if you get a transaction fee every time they're transacted, that's the recurring revenue that you're collecting as a platform. That's the real cash cow, right?
Yeah. That's like the free gaming model. It's more or less kinda. Only the ones that are willing to pay for the skin to look different, and on the other hand, it's so cool because that allows a lot of people in the world to play, even if they don't have money to really buy skins, etc. They can enjoy a game for free, so everybody is happy. I think that's what NFT industry is going to move in that direction as well. Also, don't remember mobile is something really good to have in mind for gaming.
And Andrew, I actually want to throw this to you, man, because I know you're big on like you've got strong opinions on YouTube and stuff like that. How would you like to see this? Do you think YouTube is a good place to see this? Like, how can you see that being integrated in YouTube?
Yeah, so YouTube has always done great by not directly selling anything themselves to customers, but letting creators sell things and then they take a cut. And so I think that YouTube would be best served with their subscription model, that like the channel membership model that they have right now, selling collections of NFTs and potentially avatars, essentially, that are customizable on a seasonal basis for each YouTuber. So each YouTuber can do a quarterly collection that they can sell. If you're a channel member during that period of time, you get that collection. Maybe it's one avatar that's in the likeness or whatever of the creator with the full set of gear. And if you are a channel member for all 3 months during that quarter and you make that 3-month commitment to support the channel, you get that collection and you can use it forever. You can transfer it off platform like Reddit offers, but otherwise you can keep it in the YouTube vault. You can appear as that in chats. It gives you custom emojis, and all of that is on the blockchain, and it is within YouTube's vault and usable on the platform, or you can transfer it off platform if you choose. I think that basic subscription model would basically blow up certain creators if they're hot right now, where they do a hot drop right now, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a big creator, whether it's a gaming company, a business, whatever it is. Think of all the applications that could happen there. Hell, you could be a do-it-yourself plumber who's just doing tutorial videos on YouTube to try to sell business. And then if you're a channel member this month and you have the NFT, you'll get 30% off this plumbing or home improvement related item, or you'll get my service for, I'll come out and fix your pipes for free or whatever, right? So you could add it to the services business. You could have celebrity drops. You could have gaming companies and publishers doing drops through this. You can also just have creators doing community-based drops, and then being able to transfer those NFTs off platform would make them viral. And some of them would have obviously value off platform, whether that be for services and discount or just literally for like investment or NFT flipping. that would blow up YouTube in terms of popularity and add this sort of financial meta game and collectibles meta game to what's trending on YouTube. And that, I think, would be one of the biggest and highest impact things that they could do for their business. And speaking of which, I've got to bring up this final topic and get your thoughts. And we got to wrap this episode up. But the final topic I wanted to bring here is, will third parties like Apple taking 30% of every transaction on their platform work for this digital collectible space? I mean, that seems pretty savage. Will Facebook taking 50% of everything that's happening on Meta work in this digital collectible space? Or are those savage cuts going to drive creators off of those platforms and publishers off of those platforms so they can just sell them on their own platforms instead and just maybe jump off the App Store altogether? I mean, those are savage cuts. Think about it. What if Discord started selling NFTs and what have you, and they started getting all these royalty revenue off of those on their platform, Reddit as well, royalty revenue off of all of that? And then they're saying, well, hold on, why am I giving 30% of that to Apple? I could just jump off their platform. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think the ability to earn royalties and be able to make your own platform a marketplace, as a creator to make yourself and your brand a marketplace, going to push out these centralized players or not? Open question. Who's got an opinion on that?
I think Epic Games right now has a lawsuit against Apple, right? Trying to prevent that 30% tax on all the Fortnite. And that's why they created their own launcher that was outside of the app for the iPhone. And I think if you look at the Reddit avatar, collectible avatars, they actually included the 30% tax if someone bought the avatar through the shop. But after that, they have to leave the Reddit app in order to sell it on the blockchain. So you have to transfer it, access that wallet through OpenSea or some other marketplace to actually sell it. So the initial sale may be viable used within the Apple Store if you want to reach more users, but then I think those users will be motivated to jump off of the iPhone if they actually don't want to lose 30% of the value of their NFTs or whatever they ended up buying, whatever collectible they bought. So,
you know, that's interesting. So basically in this, and maybe this number was wrong, I heard a number of sources say the value of all the Reddit NFTs ended up adding up to like $100 million. So, wow. Apple only got 30% on the initial sales on the platform because they only allow it to be sold not on the blockchain, and they have all these stupid NFT rules. Well, if they had let all the sales of these avatars actually happen in the App Store, they would have gotten a 30% cut on the $100 million worth of transactions versus these small ball transactions. These were like $20, $30, $40 here. Apple only got a cut on the little teeny transactions. They missed out on most of the revenue, 90% plus of the revenue, because of their dumb NFT and crypto rules. So do you feel like these Web2 companies, these app stores, these different platforms are just shooting themselves in the foot by forcing users off the platform? Are they missing out? I mean, in this case, they missed out on $30 million in revenue because of their dumb rules. I mean, maybe that's nothing to them. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company. But what happens when it's not 3 million users? It's 10 million, 30 million, 100 million, a billion. Now they're missing out on trillions of dollars in revenue. Final question, open floor, then we got to wrap the episode up. What do you guys think?
I think that all these big companies has something really important that is, for me, the network effect. So they have a really that huge network that is difficult for the users to move to different one so far. Unless, blockchain evolves to a platform, to a system where it's truly decentralized, and then proof that is working well for business to build on top, then will change the things. But even so, this network effect is what makes these companies still going on for at least for some time. And yeah, it's that's the big thing. But yeah, they missed. On the other hand, they're missing really good opportunities because they are so slow in terms of making decisions. No, that's what is these two things.
I would add that when you think about the reason why there's $100 million worth of volume in NFT trading for the Reddit avatars is partially because of the low transactional tax. If you had to pay 30% tax to Apple, it'd be almost impossible, or not impossible, but much more difficult to buy an avatar to flip it for a profit if you're going to lose 30+%. Because I think it's like a 3 or 5% tax back to the original creator of the avatar. So if Apple did do a tax on this, I think they would have to do something like 2%, something more like what IMX does for using a Apple official marketplace.
Even a 5 to 10%, like with them being like the big guns, like a 5 to 10 is like, man, it sucks, but I mean, fair play, right? We can't really run away from that. So going back to the whole like shooting themselves in the foot, I agree, and we see that not in just like in this, but in like, again, censorship and everything like that. You're seeing like, again, the rise of Rumble, the rise of I won't say rise of Parler, but I mean like you see these other options, and like you say, like, is it gonna be detrimental to them right now in regards to these like 30%, 50%? Maybe not right now because no one has a choice. But as we do start to get these choices, absolutely, why are people going to stay here? And again, like I say, we're seeing that with censorship now. We're seeing people move away from these. So, and again, maybe you're right. Maybe they're $1 trillion companies, so it doesn't mean anything to them if a couple of people leave. But like what we're saying, yeah, exactly. Over time, that's going to compound, and then they're going to be forced to make that decision, which is what we've been saying. So, again, it looks. Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out. If they don't change, like I said, I think a 5 to 10% is still a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot more digestible than 30 to 50%. That's just insanity.
Right. I absolutely agree. They're shooting themselves in the foot in the long term if they don't adapt. They've got to adapt, or if users won't stay on the iPhone, they'll maybe buy it initially, and then they'll transition to other marketplaces, and they're going to lose out on
Brandon with GizmoSlip, where can people find you on social media?
YouTube.com/GizmoSlip. That's probably that's my main channel.
Go check out the channel.
I also do tech reviews on GizmoSlip Tech, which is my second channel. So thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me.
Subscribe right now. It's in the description and in the podcast notes as well. Go subscribe. Turn that 600 million views into 700 million. David, a.k.a. Pachetto, where can people find you?
In many places, but for NFT-related content, it's in Spanish. It's Pachetto NFT. But I'm also creating family-friendly content with millions of users in our channels. But this is just if you got kids and you want to learn Spanish, then go to Team Nico, for example, or I mean, you will find out there other channels as well.
This guy has like so many channels, over 1 million subscribers. Let's take it from millions to billions. TSG, where can people find you?
So TSG Illuvium on YouTube, and I would love to join these guys with the millions of subscribers. So help me get there, guys. We have a bit to go.
You'll get there eventually. You'll get there.
Yeah.
You just have to grind and make thousands of videos and improve every single video. It's super easy. It's that easy, my friends. Thank you all so much for watching IlluviTalks. Every single week, you can catch this show and expert guests like these guys discussing trending topics. I told you, you would get your money back if you didn't learn at least 2 new things today. You learned 2 new things, didn't you? So don't ask for any refunds. We'll see you in the next episode, and enjoy some of this original Illuvium soundtrack music. Have you ever heard it before? Probably not. Check it out. See you in the next one.